about to embark on another housing tours adventure. Just going to send out a tweet real quick while I'm remembering. Okay, got that done. First of all, just want to remind folks, I know it's on my Twitch channel page, but I do have a lot of people message me or contact me through YouTube or something, asking about the add-ons that I use while I'm building. The links to those are on my Twitch channel page. I use a combination of three that are specifically designed for housing. That's the Katya's Builder Toolkit, which is probably the main one. The next in line would be Lament's Toolbox Housing Pro, I think is what it's called. Good morning, Bones. Thanks for joining. And then, of course, Lament's main one, which is the Decor Set Manager. I think the Toolbox Pro is an extension of the other, so I just have both. But for like set managing and stuff, I primarily use Katya's for that. For just general cloning and stuff, I tend to use Lament's. But if you are interested in trying those out and finding, testing them out for yourself, seeing if you want to use them, I don't necessarily say you have to have them all, and you certainly don't have to have any of them. It's still possible to build. It's just they're kind of quality of life type of add-ons. They make things go a lot quicker, a little bit more efficiently, so that especially if you're doing a lot of copying the same item, like for walls or for stairs or for cabinetry, whatever it is. Also, like if you are wanting to carry, like say you build a custom couch and you want to make several of those, rather than having to build each one from scratch, you can save the set and just clone the whole set every time, and it just makes things a lot easier. I show well, I don't actually show how to use it. I just use it while I'm building on stream, so people, can watch me do that. I try to explain sometimes, but it's really kind of like a hands-on thing. You learn it by playing around with it, and that's probably the best feature tool right now, is just to give it a try, experiment. If you're nervous about using it on your mains plot or a plot you've been spending many hours on, then take it to an alt and goof around with it on there until you're more comfortable with it before you start using it for a little bit more complex kind of things. As well, I do have a new section. I say new, it's been there for a few weeks now, but a lot of people might not realize it's there. On my Twitch channel page, next to the resources section, there is a section for housing streamers. Now, I know there's a lot of people that stream WildStar in general, but most of them focus on raiding, dungeoning, leveling, that kind of thing. What I'm interested in is showcasing or promoting other streamers that either primarily or frequently stream their housing content, whether it's other people's work, like tours like I'm doing today, or their own work. So far, there's only a couple listed, and I just don't do a lot of Twitch viewing myself. I don't even watch my own videos, so if that tells you anything. But if you know of anybody that streams WildStar housing frequently, then be sure and let me know. I don't have a section for YouTubers. I know there are some that prefer to just make videos. They don't actually live stream it, their materials. I may eventually add a section for that, but right now I'm mostly wanting to promote fellow streamers that are showing off housing in some form or fashion in a regular, they've only done it like once. I really don't think that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, streamers that do that on a somewhat regular basis. So anyway, just thought I'd mention that. So if you know anyone, or if you are one yourself, be happy to let me know, and I will add that to the list. Let's see, anything else? I'm trying to think. I'm still kind of waking up, so yeah, let's just get started. I've got 4 houses that I'd like to visit today. Um, they're all kind of unique in theme, sort of. I mean, it's not like we're visiting 4 towns or 4 spaceships or something like that. So I like trying to keep it kind of, you know, loose and everything as far as not following a particular theme, other than like what we did last month with the winter kind of theme. Um, but I would mention with February coming up close, and there's bound to be a lot of talk about Valentine's Day and romantic kind of stuff. If you have a home or know of a home that is specifically themed to that kind of thing, like Valentine's Day plot or whatever, I'd be happy to hear about it, and I would make sure to try and see about showcasing that on a Valentine's Day kind of tour special. Um, as it stands right now, I've not heard anybody building such. I've not come across any. There was one, I think, on Dominion side, I think is what it was, that they had uh, a like a romantic, like a newlywed place, and I had found it once, and then I had actually was going to showcase it in one of my tours, and it had went private, and I haven't checked it since. So I'll have to check and see if they're back up, because that's the only one that I think was any kind of close to a Valentine's-y theme. But if you know of someone that has a plot that's could fit that kind of scenario, or if you are thinking about working on yourself, then be sure and drop me a line, because you know, trying to go through all of these hundreds of public plots looking for a specific type is a little tough and time consuming, and I'm sure there's probably people I missed for the winter stuff this last month. So I'd really like to kind of get the word out now. If you have a Valentine's themed plot, or you're planning to make one, let me know so that I can jot your name down, and then I can kind of check back later. It doesn't have to be on Exile side. If you have a Dominion character, that's fine too. Um, but yeah, it would be something I would be interested in kind of finding out about. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. We're on Silas Greenthumb's house called the Greenhouse. You can see they've kind of decorated up their landing area. They didn't specifically go to hide it, which a lot of people feel like they have to. And this is just an example of where you don't really have to. They just built around it and kind of incorporated it, and it doesn't look too, you know, oddball. I like the little balcony back here with the stuff. So naturally, with the name of it, the greenhouse, you're expecting lots of plants, and the plot does not disappoint. Here we have a little gardening market. So they have an assortment of fruits and vegetables and plants and mushrooms and all sorts of little potted goodies. And let me slow down my run here. And you can see I like the shop's materials. Most of them are, you know, pretty standard as is kind of things, other than that they've put them in pots. But I like the little trellis bits that they've put in here. It just keeps it interesting the way they've put this little booth together here. Same way with the, I don't know, it kind of reminds you of like an old European home or something, with this like decoration on the wall, so that it kind of breaks up. You know, with me, I use the Oran walls, and I never add extra little decoration to the wall, and this is a good example of how to kind of break up that blue, so that it doesn't look the same old stuff. This is a nice example of different ways of doing little stalls. This one's just a couple of shelving bits. Um, this is more like countertop style, but certainly a good way of, like if you have a particular landscaping theme and you can't use all the plants, going with this is a way of showcasing all of these nifty plants that you've managed to collect. Even though maybe you don't want to go full on desert with all of the cactuses, here they have all of them kind of showcased in together. Okay, so now we enter the little I don't know, I don't think it's really like a village. It seems more like a single home, and it just happens to have a little marketplace here. But I like the buildings themselves. It reminds me of like a castle village with the little dome tops and everything. Here's the back end of a house, and you can see over here they've got a little greenhouse setup going up. This is a little different kind of looking. Usually they have like the domed, or they use the garden fab kit and they just box it in. But this one they've used um, uh, one of those that you see. It just keeps the warmth in, I guess. And they've got it lifted up. For the dirt, they're using sandbags, I believe. And then they've just nicely, this is one instance where kind of lining things up and making it look uniform helps pull that, idea that it's purposefully planted, or like a little garden thing. Don't know if you can actually go into this. Don't see a way up, and I didn't notice the door on the other side, but it looks like this is like a little bedroom there. Let me go back out just to make sure I didn't miss it. The stairs here are hover park pieces. Yeah, it's just like a faux kind of little extension to that building. Let's go this way. The little cave area. And this is supposed to be like a pool of Elden fluid, water, whatever you want to call it. So they've made it so that the animation makes it look like a waterfall of this green liquid stuff. It's an interesting way of using these view screens and such, the displays and everything, kind of making it look like little waterfalls and stuff. It's a weird little room. And apologies for the brightness. These Exonite walls and such are very, very bright. But they've got this little section of Eldenness. A little platform here. Seems a little out of place with the greenhouse bit, but I think sometimes even if you have a particular theme on your plot, when some new stuff comes out, you can't resist adding it in somehow. So they just thrown in this cave to be able to give them an excuse to use these. Nice ways of using these. I want to say they're, I don't remember what these are, but they're using like 2 or 3 of them in combo with each other to make these little bracketed doorway kind of things. A nice use. I'm not a big fan of the Elden stuff. I think it's nice in the open world and everything, but I just don't have the imagination to put something like this together to make it look like that. Never that impressive. So here's where they incorporated a couple of the fab kits. It's the it's not the hot springs. I forget, is meditation pool or something, and then this is the mining one. That's one of the biodome ones. Come through here, and then you get into like a little jungly bit. Lots of mushrooms planted around, and then they've added in this little walkway over the water. So it's a fun way of being able to use the mushrooms. We don't have a lot of varieties, but they've placed these that we do have in a way where it makes it look like we have lots. A web there. Then you come into a little crystal area. Again, it's another fab kit that they've managed to incorporate in. Don't know if it's actually meant that you can go up in there. I don't think so. And back here is, I guess it's a hay grass farm bit. They certainly filled it up quite a bit. It looks like the scarecrow didn't do its job because everything looks dead, but I don't know if that's supposed to be what it's meant to be like. Back here we have a little tent. Somebody camping out. At least these we can actually go inside, as opposed to the orange tent that we have. You can't go in because of the collision. Here they've just used the cellar entrance as is. A lot of people like to add the doors. They have the brackets set up for the doors, but funnily enough, it didn't come with doors. Kind of going at this backwards now. I'm trying to aim for most of the outside areas. Let's see, what is this? Like it has no entrance whatsoever. There's that thing. So it's connected to the main house. So I thought it was part of the silo thingy. Here's another little greenhouse area. This is more for your desert themed plants. So you have a lot of cactuses and the spiny stuff, the aloe plants. An interesting way of showing them off in a different, manner. Just putting them on stones. You don't have to have dirt piles for everything. And of course, I like the building structure itself. It's just a lot of 2x4s, exile walls, floors, glass. Nicely done. Over here we have another one. This is more, it hits me as more kind of tropical. You can see that they used, looks to be, I think these are fences of some sort. It's got that trim on there. Not sure what that is. Sandbags for the dirt. But they've made these little trays going all the way around and just planted different plants. One of some and a couple of others, just depending on how they wanted to fill it out. They have all these different varieties. And again, it's kind of set up the same, but then they've added some extra bits, like with the chains and the little pillars up top. You got a similar setup. This is where they can open them up. If you can see, it's kind of hard to see from this angle. They're using the chains to kind of lift up the glass, open it up to the temperatures, I guess, outside. Maybe it's the way they regulate the temperature. I don't know. Again, it's a combination of items. There's pillars, 2x4s, orange floors. I don't know what those are. It might be walls. I'm not sure. I guess it'd be the granite ones. I think Grannock is the one that looks stony like that. And of course the Oran Arch for that. Yeah, it looks like the walls. You're right. I think it's the Granite version. Little touches with the wheelbarrow and the birdhouse, and then here you have a couple of little flower garden areas for the canary flowers and the weeping flowers. And then of course we're back to the front. They have this nice little path that kind of leads you around. Doesn't mean you have to stick with the path, but a good way if you're wanting your visitors to follow a certain way or make sure that they see certain things. A path like this helps. Now notice they've added in grasses, grass patches. Normally I don't because they seem so tall, but the way they've done it, it kind of fits nicely. It looks like there's trimmed grass here, whereas the other grass is a little bit more overgrown. And then they've added in bushes and flowers here and there to kind of make it a little more believable. So even though the grass is pretty tall when you go into it, especially for the Oran, this seems to work nicely. I like the look of it. And they didn't even like keep with the same colored grass. They've got the more kind of dead grass on this side and then the greener over here. Lots of variety of trees and such as well. Here's a little bit of the path. See how they did that? They split up the grass patches to kind of give you a hint that this is where you get into the bunker house here, which we'll get into here shortly. I don't want to visit that just yet. First we'll enter this main area here. We have the porch. A lot of decking pieces. These are the corner pieces pushed together, and then you've got triangle pieces for the upper balcony. And you've got the like a living room area. Little dining area. I see how simple that is, just framing it with an extra wall just kind of makes it pop a little bit. Brings it up a little different. Here's the kitchen. A lot of cute little ideas here. You've got a drawer that's actually an Exile table with, I think it's the short file for the handle. The tray is the profile portrait turned, and then they've got another piece laying on top of it, I think. Or it could just be the back of it, period, to make it look like a little tray. The oven is a red lantern for that heat effect, and then just boxed it in with some 2x4s. These drawers, rather than using the table, they wanted them a little thinner, so they ended up using the benches for that, but using the same handle. Here you've got the bathroom sink built in for the kitchen sink. Towel rack looks to be the Marauder shelf. Just kind of peeking out so that the edge, because it looks like you can almost see the next little bit of wire there. Again, Exile table, this cabinet here. I guess this would be maybe the dishwasher or something, and that's just one of those magnetized containers. Again, benches and tables for that. This is the the top part of the refrigerator would be an airtight container. The handle, I'm not sure what that is. I don't know what's being used as the handle on that. Here's where they're cutting up some of their goodies. And this is just an extension of that house, and they've incorporated the actual garden fab kit into this extended greenhouse area. So they've got a lot of planted bits. These are the blue pod planters, and then they've added in other plants to kind of make them a little different. So you've got, you know, the habanero plant, the drooping gorge fruit, and stuff like that, and they've just kind of filled it in. And then of course you have the actual fab kit here where they have some plants planted. It's a nice way of keeping the fab kits that you actually use, but incorporating them in a way that it looks nice. Same way with this little flower garden fab kit. It looks, you know, like it fits. It's nice incorporation. So many times folks will use fab kits and they find it difficult to really blend them in. And this is a good example of how to do it the right way. So then we go up to the upper floor, and you have this nice little vanity table. It's basically 3 dressers mushed together. I don't know if they've added the handles for color. I can't remember if those are that dark. It looks like an added item, but I couldn't really say for sure. Built it up with the pillars, and then added that extra little decoration here. It looks just keeps it interesting. It's just some orange fencing there. Used it for that. Nice way of displaying the exonite plants without making it too powerful. I mean, it's pretty bright on its own even as it is, but it's not too bad. Here's a nice little living room area where they've got some custom chairs and couches. It's just 2 pillows. Nice and simple. We've seen lots of examples of things like this, and they always look different. That's what I love so much about custom building. Even if folks are using the same materials, you come up with a multitude of different approaches. I love that. And this is the balcony that we saw from the front porch, using the Exile triangle floors to make that nice, you know, somewhat curved kind of thing. Since we don't have flat curved like circles or half moons or anything. Then you've got the nice fireplace. It's basically just an Exile holographic fireplace, and they've built around it. Typically, I don't see too many use that fireplace as is. They always cover it up, and I'm included in that. I don't know what it is about that particular fireplace, but a lot of us don't like it for some reason. It just clashes. Unless you happen to have a lot of blue in your room, it seems to stand out like a sore thumb. So we end up covering it, and this is a nice way of doing it. It's just some hover part pieces, Draken floors, and they just boxed it in nice. The mantle is the renowned orange shelf. It's a really nice combination of pieces there. And of course the couch looks a little wonky, and that's mostly because of the shape of the pillow itself. It's not a perfect, you know, square rectangle bit. It's kind of an odd shaped thing, so you make do. Go out above here. Got this nice view, upper view of the garden out here. And this is the little, I don't know, hay meal. I guess that's where this comes into play. It's shows it where it's growing, it's been piled up, and then it's baled. A little hay barn. A cute idea. I've seen this particular, the hay pile, used by a few as ways to make little like rolling hills, and they've just covered them with grass. Looks really nice. Because it'd be kind of hard to cover up the snowy hill because it's, for one, it's pretty steep, and having the grass layout, and of course the grass patches that we have, if you look at them from one angle, it looks like, you know, lots of gap, and then if you look at it from another angle, it looks nice and full. So you have to be creative about how you're going to block it off if you're going to do that. So let's go to this extended area. This is the one where we couldn't find the entrance from below. So here we have an interesting little tower thing going on. I love this tree thing. It's like dry logs stuck together to make this strange looking tree thing that they've added lights and little plants to. Nice use of the triangle pieces for the flooring. A great way to handle it. Just look at how they've, you know, even though it's not the same size as the others, it works nicely. It still fits well and allows for that staircase down there. That's a really great way of doing a kind of a roundish building, like a silo or a tower, and still have a way of incorporating the staircase so that you can get to every floor. Little computer desk here. All those little gadgetries, all the little things on the shelf, they added all of that. Let's go down first. So here we have the bathroom area. So you got your exercise place, and then you've got the toilet area here. Here's a nice little sink vanity thing. Again, using the same stuff. This time they've used a different handle for that bit. I'm not sure what that is. Top of the file, perhaps. And on this side is, I assume this is meant to be like a sauna slash shower kind of thing. So the medical hovering cot things are giving that glowy, misty effect. And then you have like this little sweat tent kind of thing going on. Again, this is just I think it's the dry log. Thankfully, it doesn't have any problem with collision, so you can actually go inside it, which is nice. And then over here is the shower part. Go back up. And we progress to the next. And here is a lovely little bedroom. Again, carrying that dry log theme all the way from top to bottom. It's using it as a kind of a natural thing that it's been built around. And then just adding different plants. These got the little candle sconces set into it, almost like mushrooms with candles set on them. Look at the bed, how they've taken the regular bed and just dressed it up with the orange fence posts and fence pieces to give it a little bit more pizzazz. And gave this nice little bench kind of thing set up around this tree stump by using the oar and landing pad. A nice idea. Got some nice views of even the neighbor. Got a nice view of the neighbor from here. Okay, down we go. And I think that's it for the exterior part of the plot. So now we can go back out to the bunker house. Look at this little shelf thing. I don't think I saw that when I first come in. It's a nice idea. Just using the bowls. It's just bowls with the plants put in them. So again, we're going to follow the little path right out to the bunker house. And then we enter the greenhouses like laboratory, I guess is the best term. It's kind of like the high-tech part of it. And yeah, I agree, Bones. I like the acorns. Wish we could have just some separate from the fence posts, but you know, you take what you can get. So here we have the little bonsai section, cleverly incorporated with the metal dividers. That kind of has that Asian feel, like those paper thin little doors that they have. So here you have a variety of little trees. They're using the water troughs for some and just bowls for the others, and making a little selection of bonsai trees, which is a cute little thing. I think these are one of the signs. I don't know if it's the gun sign or something, but it's just the bottom, maybe the top of it. It's got this little red thing. It's a cute idea for, again, following through with that Asian thing. And if you're wondering what the little blocks are, those are just the ends of pillars in different sizes and such, depths, for the little displays. This here, I'm not sure what all this is. A lot of different doodads here. I know the blinking light is the end of one of the detonators. The buttons here is part of the ergonomics keyboard. I imagine a couple of these are from engine parts. I think this is one of the drill things, or it could be a fence post of some sort, like the Marauder thing, because I think they have a lot of green and metally bits. The panel itself is the bottom of one of the chests. I think it's the Exile chest, the locked Exile chest, but I'm not sure. And I think that's one of the new lights from the ship hand expedition bits. And of course, you know, this interior here is all of the, what do you call it, the data escape window or something. I think that's what that is. So here you get a good view of, look at all the bits here. There's a lot of labby stuff going on. So you have the far side kind of little mini biome here, using a variety of the asteroids, lots of space wheat, the buoyant blue crystal. Nicely done. It just blends really well how they put it all together. Here you have a little waiting room. Little medical area for, I guess, maybe if you come in contact with a poisonous plant or something, maybe all of these plants aren't really nice. I'm sure there's probably a strain section somewhere, so maybe this is where they come if they get some poisoning from the plants. Nice use of the technophage stuff for kind of like a barrier thing. So here we have a little, again, it's a little section of plants. The dirt, again, is the sandbags. Using the red moon vents as like little ventilation at the bottom. I don't know what's being used for all of these. I think it's the early warning system. It's like the little cage with the bird. And if I remember right, the bottom of it has like a blue, rounded blue bit. And I think that's what they're using here for the blue dots. And the purple ones are from the technophage emitters. The same thing that you're using for the door, they've just got it here instead. But that's my guess. I think that's what the blue bits are. It could be something else, but I'm fairly sure it's the early warning system. Got that little dead canary in it or whatever. So here's like a little lab area. Again, the shelves is just the Exile tables, then Cassian floors for the top of the cabinet, Orin floors for the rest of it. Lots of little interesting goodies there. Look at this. They've made this, there's like a little refrigerated section here, and they've got it split open halfway so you can kind of dig in there and get your bananas and berries. They're like really big bananas. Maybe they're, you know, fashioning uber-sized fruits for the feeding the plenty. Again, they're just doing a lot of the same of what they did upstairs, but just kind of finding interesting ways of combining it. There's a nice use of that lightning bolt there. Yeah, all hail the Uber banana. I think this bit, I want to say it's from one of those tree shelves from the Winterfest, because if I remember right, they glow different colors. So it's like the bottom or top one, and maybe it's a multiple ones, you know, like 3 of them sandwiched together, and the rest of it's all hidden elsewhere. But yeah, here's a functioning Dominion cryopod, and all they've got is the little controls for it. You know, a lot to look at here. It's, you know, if you're looking for ways to showcase, you know, have little display, this is a great place to go to. They've got a variety of ways that they've got things boxed in. You got the big version. You got this one where it's open on the top. You could actually, you know, box that in completely if you want. Keep all your plants short so that they don't poke out. Here you have a little lab work going on. Again, different versions. Like a lot of little details. Different types of drawers depending on where it is. This one's got little eggs in here. It's very similar to the oven that's upstairs, but they've just changed it slightly, and it has a different look to it altogether. Look at this. That's the top of a tiki lamp, for anyone wondering. But they're using it like a, what do they call it, a Bunsen burner kind of thing. It's interesting. This one's just a boxed in display. That one looks a little crooked there. It's still really nice. I like all of the attention to detail here. So see, you got like string bits. It's like little miniature terrarium kind of things. They have different types. Like here's the spore stuff. And they've kept it nicely. It doesn't look weird at all. Look here, they built this little bit using some water, so that here's your water source down here. They've got this little pump bringing it up. It's pouring out from the vents here. And then there's a tube here, and it makes it look like the water connected in these two. And that's just a combination of curved tubes and domes and things like that to build that. Nicely done. Even went as far as to got the little controller there. And just when you think that's it, it isn't. There's an upstairs as well. You get to that from over here. Now notice the staircase, that's pillars. Just Cassian pillars just stacked up. Look, they even have a little hidden display there with the little creepy plants. Now, this particular area is really interesting for those that are looking for ways to bring in kind of atmosphere kind of bits. I couldn't tell you exactly what they're using. I think this is either some fires or engine bits, but it looks kind of fiery, and there's like embers and stuff falling. Again, I don't know what they're using for that to give that effect, but it's a really nifty way of doing that. I suspect it's not something you could do on the exterior. You have to have the luxury of having the ceiling be able to tuck in what you don't want showing. Here we have some more little biome kind of things. That's just like a little viney mess there. So here we have the biome with kind of a snowflake falling. Now I do know what these are. These the effects are coming from the stardust tulips, and the way they described it, there's like several, and they're just enlarged really big and tucked away so that all you see are the sparkle effects. I had hoped that it would be a way for folks to be able to somehow bring in snowfall to specific areas on their plot, but again, it's one of those things that only works when you can hide the plant itself, and you can. This is a really cute little biome setup here, using some of the effects of the decor, and in this case, it would be the stardust tulips. Over here, again, I have no idea what is causing the bits, but it looks like rainfall, kind of. It's a really clever way of using that. Get that tropical look. Yeah, see how it looks different? These are kind of floaty and sparkly, and that just looks like rain. Got snow, rain, and fiery. There's a top view of that little water plant down below. Look at all these pipes and stuffs. Here again, it's using a waterfall inside a tube to kind of set up and making it look like there's water traveling through it. It's a really, for those that are looking for interesting ways of using that to make it look like it's flowing through, it's a really good approach. So I think that's it for Silas Green Thumb's plot. Nice all around. I mean, there's a lot of interesting details. I mean, even the balcony, the structures here, it's all Cassian pillars that they've made for the railing. This is actually a protostar balcony that they're using here. Um, Not repeated all the way around, but it blends in nicely. Just looks like it's fits really well. Excuse me. So that would be The Greenhouse by Silas Green Thumb. Excuse me. Next, for anyone that is a World of Warcraft fan or is familiar with the game, you will appreciate this next one. This is Cryotech's Stormwind WildStar style. Um, I I played the game myself, the World of Warcraft. I've been playing it for like well over 9 years or so. So a lot of this looks familiar to me, but I'm sure I'm not going to get all of it right because it's not like I go give a tour of Stormwind there. But for anyone that's somewhat familiar with Stormwind for Alliance side, you'll recognize that this is familiar looking. You can see the Griffin Nest area here, the statues of the walkway that's leading up to the main entrance. Now, I will say that most of the plot is pretty barren of decorations. I think most of it was concentrated on just getting the layout kind of set up and familiar looking. So you can see all of the pieces that they've used. I mean, these are oversized Draken pillars for a lot of the architecture here to bring out that stone look. You have the statue here, and I don't know who's actually on there. I don't know who's all of these bits, but I thought it was cleverly done as far as using what we have available to kind of resemble what's actually in the game. Here you come into the main part. It is just the one district. I believe if the plot was even bigger, they would probably expand it to include other districts. This is just a trade district. So you have, this is the guild hall where you come and register your guild. Over here is the cheese shop. So notice that they've got the little cheese sign there. And if you go inside, you can even go up to the second floor, just like in the game. Again, it's not exact, but it's reminiscent enough that it, you can't help but smile at the attention to the detail as far as making sure all the recognizable buildings are there. Notice for anyone that's trying to build a town and are unsure of how to put buildings together, this is a great example to come to. They're using a variety of objects from curved walls and hover park pieces. There's Oran walls, pillars, arches, cylinders, tubes, domes. There's all sorts of things. Even a lot of the decking pieces for some of the roof bits. Over here is the little Regent shop where you can come and collect your bottles of goodies. Again, another cute little sign, even with the chains and stuff. It's a simple way of doing it, but effective. I mean, that's a clever way of putting it in there. Here's the billboard. Everybody comes and the latest stuff. Got the little tree here. Here we have the auction house. You got your Little auctioneers there with all their goodies and the benches. A little fountain leads the way up into the bank. The marauder netting for the little bits. The faux vault door for the main thing. Again, yeah, there's a lot of detail missing, but I still think it's worth taking a look. I find it interesting, you know, for someone that, you know, might want to give something like this a try. You see here, you got the coins for the bank sign. This is the inn that everybody always goes to. Very reminiscent of what you find in game. That's what I find funny. Amusing. Not like funny weird, but funny haha. Come back out here, you do get a glimpse of the canals that they put in. See, if they had the space, I'm sure they would extend it out and go into like the Mage District and the Dwarven District and all of that, but you know, they just don't have the space. But I think it's a pretty grand effort, considering. I don't know what shop this is supposed to be. I know there's a barber shop here somewhere. Yeah, here's the barber shop. Now, now that we have the little Winterfest post. All right, see you later, Bones. Thanks for joining in. They could probably use the fence post from Winterfest as the barbershop pillar thing, the little pole. But this is supposed to be the barbershop where you can get your hair changed. And again, this would lead off to the Dwarven District. They've got parts of it up. You can kind of see where they've attempted to extend it, but just not possible with the space that we have allowed. They have the little gator monster. And of course, you know, with a lot of towns, faux doors, faux buildings is a big thing. But all in all, I like the concept. If you're wondering what they're using for the little round part, that's a round trough, empty round trough. I find it a really fun idea. There's another one that we'll probably visit on another day that also kind of celebrates this game, but I didn't want to cover them all at the same time. So for those that will probably want to bombard me with messages about it, I am aware of it, but I just opted not to visit it today. So that's Cryotech Stormwind WildStar style. It's a really fun little idea of bringing in you know, while a lot of people kind of fuss that originality is king and that you have to be super original, bringing in something that folks are familiar with, be it a movie, a book, another game, those are, even if you can be super original and come up with an interesting thing, it only goes so far. It really helps when you kind of find ways of bringing a recognizable element to your plot if you're wanting to make people feel a little bit more invested invested in it, I guess is the right way to say it. It's one thing to make up your own town, which we visited a lot of custom towns, but this one has a little extra sentiment to it because it's, you know, meant to be reminiscent of another place that a lot of us are familiar with, and it's enjoyable to kind of think, you know, oh well, that's this place, and oh yeah, I remember this, kind of that kind of deal. It's like the Griffin place, even though the Griffin area doesn't have actual griffins, you recognize it as being that. Let me go to it because I think I missed. They even have a little water well there. Those are just posters for the roof, by the way. But even though the griffins aren't there, you know what it's supposed to be. Little nest here. And that's how you can get away with, you, even if there isn't a lot of detail, the familiarity is there. So it already kind of establishes it a little better than if you just made this place up out of your head. It still would be really nifty, but a lot of people just feel better attachment to something like, you know, we have a lot of spaceship type of plots where they make their own craft, and a lot of them have some fantastic ideas in how to make the cockpit area and the storage area and all of the other stuff. But when, say, they replicate a known aircraft like the Firefly or something like that, that's a little bit more. It just brings the visitor in a little bit better, because then they're looking for specific things. Hey, did they add, you know, did they make sure to put this in? Did they make sure to put that in? That kind of thing. So anyway, that is Cryotech's Stormwind WildStar style. So now we're going to head over to Water Paradise by Arthur Dent. Now they actually, I think I've toured their place before, but they've just completely changed the whole theme. So I figured it was time to come back. This is called Water Paradise, and clearly it is mostly a water-based plot. You can see they've just kind of layered and sandwiched and scrunched in a variety of water bits, from waterfalls to lots of winding rivers. So yeah, you're going to see odd texture lines and things like that. But if you kind of just get past that, the idea is a fun one, I think. Using a lot of boardwalk pieces and such for getting around the plot. Lots of overgrowth for the ivy coverings on the stones and such. Here's a good little overview. I think I just fell through. My bad, I fell through the thing. See, that's what I get for just kind of meandering around. See if I can get back up there. Stay on the path, Carrot. Stay on the path. Okay, so we're just going to kind of go around the whole outer bit, and then we'll go on to the interior later. That, if I remember correctly, this does have a bunker house addition. So here we have a little area. It looks a little messed up. The mailbox and thing is just kind of knocked over, and I guess the mail has been strewn over here as well. But this is kind of like a little, I don't know, I think of it as like a little mini diner kind of thing. It could be meant as something else. Maybe it's where you come and you get a book and you just sit down and have some tea or something. But I like the construction of it for sure. just lots of 2x4s. They've covered it with grass to kind of dress up the roofing and have this little area here to kind of simulate. Again, it's just junkiness. It's got discarded notes underneath. Look at all that 2x4 though. It's completely made. They wanted that wooden look for sure. That's a lot of decor for that. That's one end. Interesting little kind of build. I mean, you could turn that into anything. You could make a little house out of it if you don't want like a little public area kind of thing going on. You're wondering what that is sticking out there. That's an anchor. You're wondering what this leafy stalk sticking out along with those thorn bushes or trees or whatever they're called. Excuse me. I don't know if that's supposed to be a cave thing there. Don't think so. Let's go this way. I'm going to hop on my user here. There's one of those new Oran gondolas. Now, I don't know if there's actually anything back here. I don't think so. It's just added some decoration with the little blossom plants that you can get. They could very well add something here, maybe a fisherman or something fishing in the lake, river, pond, whatever you want to call it. Got a little grassy glade here. No idea if it's actually supposed to be wandered down into, but we're gonna go down, check it out. Looks like it comes out over here. Notice the plants and stuff. They've added those in themselves. Little weeping part. So this is like a little outlet. Nicely done. Just to, you know, kind of break it up a little bit. Out here. This is one of those rope bridges. I think it's a long one. Could be a couple of the short ones put together, but I think it's one of the long ones. And then you come to the main building here, and it's kind of resembles a boat to me. Again, look at all of the 2x4s being used to make it. From the sides to the roofing, there's just a lot of pieces. And see, even the roof is just 2x4s. Lots and lots of 2x4s. For the main part of it is just decking, deck railing for the upper part. Don't think there's anything specific out here, but we'll kind of go around into the water just to look around. The poor little lop trapped in the screaming plant there. A little bit of strain hanging around. A lot of obsidian rock. There's the purple arch rock there. But most of the stones, I think, is the obsidian ones. Now, others are preferring to use the big sandstones or the gray stones. The only issue I have with them is that when you oversize them and then you start moving around them or whatever, you can almost guarantee that your camera will kind of pop off inside them so that they disappear. And it kind of uh, feels a little weird. See, when I turn my camera so that it's up against the stone, the camera zooms in. It pretends as if there's camera collision. The camera has to follow the contour of the stone. But if it's on one of those other types of rocks, the gray stone or the sandstone, the camera just zooms straight out, and the rock, you don't see it. And it kind of changes the not the ambience, but the immersion of it, because if you're in a confined cave made out of those, it doesn't feel very confined because your camera passes right through the stone. That's the only issue. And so in those cases, I do prefer the use of the obsidian stone because they maintain their solidity. So here we have this little structure. It looks like a boat, almost like an arc kind of thing, because you have that upper part here, which you can get to via a little area here. Don't know if you can also access it from the inside, but take a look. Yeah, you can. So you have the little smoking area here where people can hang out and chat. You have a little bit more proper seating area here. Then if you go down inside, then you've got the little, it's like a bar slash diner kind of thing going on. A little messy looking, but I think that's the idea. They wanted to look lived in without probably having, this would be a nice place to come RP if you want to have a little kind of like a hangout. It almost has that clubhouse feel. But look at all of the structure. I mean, even the bar setup is cleverly done. You got the drinks and stuff on one side and the food on the other. And all of it 2x4s. There's just tons of 2x4s. I mean, look at the little wine rack up here. This one's got glass shelves. And the way they've duplicated, there's probably just one shelf bit for each side so that it pokes through and it works for both sides. Notice they got different size stools to accommodate different size patrons. Little storage area for their wine. I think this leads back out. And then down here is the bunker house. Now, I don't remember for sure if there's actually anything in this, but yeah, fairly confident there wasn't. So it'll be someplace that, you know, we'll hope that they come and put in something. But what's here is still pretty cool. I like the concept of it. A little kind of out in the boonies kind of clubhouse thing. That's what it reminds me of. So that's Water Paradise by Arthur Dent. They actually have several places, so you probably see like Arthur Sent and Arthur Bent. It's all the same person. They have a lot of clever building ideas. Because I think Bent is got the log cabin. And again, they love using the 2x4s. It's one of their favorite pieces, I think. Okay, so the last house for today is my eyes started to twitch. Is Thara Manor by Kithara. I believe it's actually an alt of ZZ, but I get folks confused. If they are like altaholics, it's very easy for me to get them mixed up. So if I'm wrong about that, my apologies, but I'm pretty sure it's one and the same person. So here we have another method of disguising the teleporter pad. They've just layered on tons of grasses and stones. I think it's the top of a thinker head. I could be wrong about that, but that's what it reminds me of, the coloring and everything. Um, it could be a bowl of some sort. I'm not really sure what else under here, but it's a nice job. And they've put one of these trees over top. I want to say it's one of the spooky trunks, but I'm not for positive because it's so big and hard to kind of see all the way out. But it's a really nice way of hiding it and making it look overgrown, which matches the whole theme of the plot. There's lots of um, mossy, swampy, almost looking kind of material. So again, I think it's a lot of thinker heads because those are the ones that has these little shrooms on top to make all of these little mossy hills. In combo with a variety of other things like I believe this is one of the um, cerulean sky growths. It could be one of the canopy pieces too, but I don't know. Some of the swamp willows, all of these roots coming out, adding some water in as well to kind of, again, give it a nice swampy feel to it. Just feels majorly overgrown and everything. So here you've got like several little bits here. You've got looks like a corrupted tree, some tangled thorn bush, and then I think it's a fallen log or something like that. Lots and lots of bits. This is one of those times where I admire those that can really kind of uh, get carried away with their landscaping. If I tried to do this, it would look so naked and barren that it would be awful. But they've done a really good job of tying it all in together. For the pathway, it's the new sandstone rocks that I was talking about earlier. Of course, they don't have the issue of the camera kind of going wonky with it because um, it's not enclosed or oversized, so you don't notice it as much. They've made it as the nice big path here. I think that's just the bottom of an old tree, one of the spooky trees possibly. I got those nasty shrooms in there. But you can see the manor itself from a distance. The little area is just boxed in with Galeris walls, stone walls. But I believe it's an actual ready-made house, and they've just added all of these extra features onto it for the towers and stuff using, I think it's a combination of like those stoves with the little covering on it, and then they've just added other bits in to kind of finish it off. I'm going to follow around on this swampy area first just to make sure we don't miss any kind of little nifty little extra out here. As they took a lot of time, a lot of care adding in all of these extra elements, and so I don't want to just brush over it without a second glance. I'm really bad at platforming, so my apologies. Trying to get a good overall view of the plot here. A little tough. There's a kind of an overview of the back. kind of a sneak peek of what's coming up. So you can see again, that looks like the bell top stove that they've used for the little tower bits, and then they've just added in a lot of extra goodies to finish off the house. Let's go to the front entrance here if I can find it, going through all these weeds and stuff. I love the look of the Gothic gate, but I hate that it glows green when you're in line with it. It looks so much better without that green. But notice they've hid most of it. They've just got the doors and the light fixture showing. So first, we're going to explore the exterior of the home to the best of our ability. So they've taken this weeping fountain and they've just made it their own. Look at all those hugels that they've added in an interesting arrangement just to make it different. That just shows you, even if you have something standard, it doesn't mean you have to use it as is. Giving it your own little twist is so much better than just leaving it as is. I know it's not always practical to make everything custom, but the more you can, the better, I think. Result is always more appealing. Here we have a little seating area. The benches, I think, are just the bottoms of probably the Galeras wall. I want to say, I don't know for sure. Gothic pillar with a little, no, I think that's actually one of the ornate pillar. And just different flowers, some overgrowth used to kind of fill in the bottom, and then added in the white flowers and the habanero bushes. Bring it out a little bit more. Again, the same stones basically that they used for the path coming in, they just flattened it out, picked one side and flattened it out and made it a nice little walkway. Tying in their fab kit choice, which is the hedges. These are the smaller ones, just a pair of them side by side, and then the large one for the little maze. Another good example of kind of tying things in. They've got the overgrowth coming over some of the fencing, but not all over the place. You don't want to overdo it. These kind of things is better. A little hint of it that here and there. You don't want to overdo it. And then here we have a really lovely little stone slash wooden gazebo kind of thing. It's more stony than anything. It's really nicely done though. Using for the overgrowth here, they've just used a number of trellises and layered them in up at the top. Really lovely. This is that same fountain from the front. It's just turned upside down and they've made it a table. But they wanted to keep with all the stones, so they've found every kind of stone bit that they could, come up with to kind of tie it all in together. So they're using a lot of the Gothic pillars, Gothic fencing, stones for the base of it. Really lovely construction here. And touches of hugels. And it's not even the same one on each pole, which a lot of people would be tempted to, in fact, I would probably be tempted to kind of make it matchy-matchy from side to side. But even with them not being the same, it works. They've done that over here as well. It's all different ones. but it ties into the fountain in the front with all the hugels. And here they've repeated the little sitting area that they did in the front. They've done it here, but they look different. And again, with the hugels, it's just following through, keeping with the theme. Really, really lovely. So in kind of going with their little segmented uh, areas here and keeping it on, it looks like a really nicely trimmed and kept yard. They've added in this little graveyard section as well. It's a combination of the actual crowded graves decor, but then they've added all in um, little different bits. Some are custom, some aren't, like the spiky grave and such. They've added elements to them to kind of make them their own. Excuse me. But like this little bit, this part here, the dark part, is actually the bottom of a crowded graves, because that funny little pattern that it has is kind of recognizable. It's the only reason why I know what it is. And then they've laid a rose on it. And then this is one of the Dominion pillars, I think, fence pillars, and they're just using that as kind of like the headstone covering for that. Just looking at some of the different ones, how they've chosen to use them. Here's an interesting one. Same, it's the crowded graves, and then they've trimmed it with another element, and then used the exonite walls and little pillar piece to make a design there. I don't know what the design represents. I'm sure it means something, but it doesn't ring a bell for me. And over here, got similar setup, but like, you know, they use the spiky gravestone in several places, but they add different elements or they leave it bare just to kind of mix it up a little. Interesting little yard. And then you have this really big one with all the candles. Looks like glasses and things being used, the little holders, bowls and such. I'm not entirely sure what's being used for the construction. I want to say it's just layered up crowded graves, but I can't say for sure if that's what it is indeed. Just a nice little bit. The lamp bit, I think, is just, I want to say it's one of the orange sconces, but it could be something else. And then the cover is just a drake and cauldron put over top. Really lovely built little bit. And of course, that's the graveyard fab kit. But it fits. Again, this is a good example of, you know, if you're going to have fab kits, make sure they're blended nicely. It doesn't look out of place, and that fits really, really well. Again, just more of the Hedges fab kits, and then they repeated the same little setup on the other side. Makes it look even. Now I'm going to try and get some good shots of the main building here. You can see they've added a balcony, some decoration with glass up above, like a little fan. They've got a little balcony window up top with some candles. I didn't notice any way of actually getting up to it, so I'm just doing my best to kind of look. I mean, look at the care in adding all these extra little bits. They've got all the ornate pillars and Google added extra bits. Shot of some of this. See how that's added in? Just decorated it themselves with all these extra little bits to personalize it. Even though it's a prefab home, they've personalized the exterior themselves. It's got all these little hoogle bits, got some drake and gargoyles up there, tower. And to think most of this you won't actually get up close to, because I don't see a way of getting up to it. Hoogles again with the, yeah, it's the orange and yellow sconce. It's probably the same one that they use for the one out back, and then it's covered with the drake and cauldron. Look at those windows. Oh, really smart looking to do those real fast. See if we can get up here. I'm so lousy with the jumping. Very bad. I get a good shot of some of the towers. It's really nice, really nice. A lot of detail that probably a good many visitors don't even realize that it's done. They just probably assume that it's comes that way, and it really doesn't. I wonder if I can hop on. I think I can get up there. There's a little better shot front. Really fancy looking balcony here. It almost looks like mattresses being used for that. Kind of hard to tell from a distance. And of course the glass is just layered and fanned. Give that look. So off to the interior we go. Again, drake and cauldrons on top of the lights. Nice touch. So here we are inside the manor itself. And we have some come as they are display cases, and then they built this one using a combination of 2x4s for the bottom and top, glass pieces to encase it. Looks like using one big one for the front and back, and then 2 small ones for the sides, just due to the size, the shape that they made the display case. And then for the legs and sides, those are just Merg dynamite to give it that ornate, like carved wood look. And it blends really well with how these are made. It almost looks the same. It's not exact, but it's close enough. Here we have a little pillar thing. It's just a combination of 2 pillars here, and one turned slightly to make that column effect, and then another pillar, just the end of it showing to make the bottom of the base. Same way here, that's another pillar top for the base of that. This one is one of these display cases turned upside down and sunk into the floor, and then just topped with an arrangement of glass to make a custom table. Here we have a variety of things. This is a little coat rack here, a hat stand. You got the umbrella a little bit, like something I made that I'm working on something else. This little bit here. It's just drake and cauldron stacked up to make a taller little base thing. Then you have another display cabinet. This one is a combination of glass panels, curved glass for the top part, and 2 pillars for the side. Over here we have a little sitting area. A lot of little custom work here. The base of the table is one of the goblets, drinking glasses, just sunk down so that you have the one part, and then just layered glass in a nice little pattern. The couches are actually wooden benches that have been covered with Chua pillows. It kind of makes it where it, in theory, would remain functional, but just gives it a different appearance. The chandelier here is a combination of the Oran yellow sconce for the actual light, a couple of Drake and cauldrons, gear trophies, and looks like leaf windows for the little bottom part, or the attachment part. For the fireplace, it's mostly Chua pillars for that, like the hooded stove part, the ornate fence, the rusty fence, or whatever it's called. It's the one that's available straight off the vendor. For the stairs and such, it's all 2x4s for all this flooring and everything. You have a little closet area here where I guess Harry Potter would live if he was here. And then you come up into the kitchen. The drawers, I'm not sure what those are. I think it's pillar bottoms being used, but I'm not certain. Seems like it's not, because I really couldn't honestly say what those are. Maybe it's like the pillar, but it's set in a way that you just see the edge of it or something. That's what it reminds me of, but I really can't honestly say what that is. Looks like Merg dynamite for the handles, though. Whatever it is, they are consistently using it. It could be, I don't know what that is. A nice contrast to the 2x4s, though. So here you have an assortment of vegetables. The bits here, the little looks like gourd fruit, those are from the trellis, and I think they just got the trellis sunk down, and so you just see the little fruit bits. They even went through the trouble of making a bread container made out of dome and curved walls. Place it, move it and you bring it out. This is one of the decking pieces that they're using as a cutting board. And you go further upstairs here, and you've got the empty trophy cabinets. Just part of it's being hidden, and just so that they can use the shelving for the plates and stuff. This is a lovely little cabinet. A lot of little doodads here. Let's see if we can name them all. The handles, I believe, are the Drake and cauldrons. It's this thing here, and it's just shrunk down to make it look like little handles. The drawers are books. The main construction of the cabinet is, of course, 2x4s. The little tray here, I believe, is one of those hanging pictures, the portrait picture, just sunk down just so that you just see the one bit. And then it's got, it's basically two fruit bowls kind of sandwiched together to make it look like a large platter of it, with a little extra banana laying out in front. It's a really lovely little setup, though. Looks like Merg dynamite for the feet. The dining table, again, is 2x4s, and it looks like Drake and fencing for the legs and edges there. Granite floors for the little table runner in the middle. For the food trolley cart thingy, again, it's a combination of things. For the little skirting of the platter, pig platter here, there's looks like they've used some Oran fencing to give it some green, like leafiness. mattresses for this little like hot plate kind of thing. For the little dessert, looks like a little pudding jello mold thing that looks like bananas layered up. Um, Snow bits for this dessert here with a little bit of the marauder fruit on top. For the cookies, the iced cookies, it looks like bowls turned upside down, so you just see the gray, and then probably snow clumps set in to make it look like icing cookies. Again, I'm guessing what those are. I don't really know. That's what it looks like to me. Again, they repeated the chandelier kind of lighting. They just didn't double it up like they did in the little seating area. For the towel rack, again, it's Merv dynamite. Those are really versatile little objects. Okay, off to this section here. Just a little seating area. Faux doors, it's just those metal wall dividers. And for the handles, it looks like the end of that Draken fence that they used for the table. So up the stairs we go. Notice they trim it still, kind of help break up the monotony of the walls. Maybe even cover up bits that they don't want showing. The sconces again are those ends of those Draken fencing. It could be Falcon. I keep saying Draken just because it's got the horns and stuff, but it could be Falcon as well. They've repeated the little fan shape that they had in the front on the top of the house. They've got that repeated here as a little kind of an artwork. The table is, I believe that's the Draken wardrobe. It's the one that's got like the spears and stuff stuck in it. And it's just upside down, and you just see the legs, and then they've layered in the glass to make different tables. Yeah, it's this one here. It's just upside down. Just kind of fun. There's another little table. It looks like these chairs here. They've got them sunk in so you don't see the wheel part, but they've used it here as well, the nautical chairs, and sandwiched them all together and made this interesting little arrangement for the base of this table. This is a faux door. It's actually one of the Draken cabinet, I think, for that. But it matches these doors pretty. Here is a storage room where they've got all the, again, this is a great place to put, you know, things that don't quite match everything else. Like that Winterfest gate there. It's a good way to display those kind of objects that you just can't fit in anywhere else. A storage room is ideal for that. Storage room, an attic, a collections cabinet, any kind of thing like that is perfect to display some of these harder to get items, things that you're proud of acquiring or just want to use up, that kind of thing. We'll go down this way. First, we'll take a look at their grandfather clock. It is a lovely combination of goodies. Let's see if we can name most of them. That's the leaf windows. The face of the clock is made out of, looks like the orange window. It might be a couple of them layered in. And then the Hugel portrait, either one or two of those kind of layered in to give that ornate little gold bit around the edges. The face of the hands, I think, are those ornate orange pillars, and then probably a Merv dynamite at the top of it for that very centerpiece. The little bits in here, those are the gear trophy. It looks like some Chua pillars. Probably a golden arrow for this part here. The little hanging baubles are the Draken pendant lights. I suspect this part here that kind of looks like a little gong thing that would go from, you know, TikTok. I suspect that's a Draken cauldron. And then the sides are just 2x4s, Merv dynamite bits all around in there, and then the bottom looks to be another window of some sort to finish it off. Really lovely little arrangement for a grandfather clock. It's one of the better ones that I've seen. I've had a lot of people, and I think I built one myself for a friend of mine, and it wasn't quite so detailed. So here's a lovely little bedroom. Notice they broke up the walls here with a little leaf design. That's again the orange leaf windows. You use that throughout the house, and it helps tie in the elements pretty nicely. They're using the windows with those I forget what they're called. The little door things on the windows. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but it's they're open, so the window is kind of like hidden cleverly. It's sticking, you know, the other direction, and they're using the doors of the window as doors for their closet. So you can kind of take a peek through the railing there to see that like there's a bra hanging on top of that little changing area, and over here you have a sock laying on the floor, that kind of thing. So they're walk-in closets, but they just blocked it off in a nice, interesting way. The bed is just lifted up with an orange window being used as like a tier kind of, I don't know what you call it, little way of raising it up. It just makes it look different from the rest of the room. With white drapes built around it. The little vanity table is a multitude of these ornate storage boxes layered up and made into this nice little arrangement. You've got the filled bar. You know, instead of it being drinks and stuff, it's become, you know, maybe perfume bottles or other things for, you know, a lady to, you know, freshen up and pretty herself. They've added in these domes with the colorful orange windows, and probably inset the lights inside there so that you can, you don't see the actual lights, they just give off the shine. It looks like spotlights of some sort being inset in there. And then for like this bowl, they've used little berries. I'm using a mop as a brush, so this is where she, you know, applies her makeup. Making sure I don't miss any little details. This kind of house is full of these little. So here we have the bathroom. It's the Heart collection coffee tables, just inset just enough so that that blue, I call it the butterfly shape, butterfly pattern is showing, and they're using that instead as the rugs for the bathroom. 2x4 for the big counter here, Merv dynamite for the handles here, or the hangers, I guess, the towel rack, the legs on the cabinetry here. The sink, I don't know what for sure they're using. Yeah, it looks like the control panel for the faucet. Another kind of dynamite, I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but another dynamite thing for the faucet handles. Looks to be a cup for the mirror. I don't know what they're using for the actual mirror part. It could be a file. It could be, I don't know what, probably a variety of things. For the little, I guess it's a soap dish. I think that's just a snowy pile for that. For the cabinetry here, again, it's mostly 2x4s and the Merc dynamite for the handles. Bowl and chew cup combination for the toilet. And then the little arrangement here looks to be the empty trophy cabinet as the little color thing. The display of that plant. Okay, next, another faux door here, and then you go up. Another faux door. And then we come into a lovely little orange bedroom, and you can see that they've made the bed out of Chewa pillow mostly, and then the corners of the bed are composed of orange fence posts, overgrowth for the ivy covering, and again they've followed through with the lighting bits. The only difference is it doesn't have the drake and cauldron covering like the others do. Let's see, what's the next one? There's a little library. Again, duo pillows for the chairs. Nice little desk area here. Again, it's another way of putting out things. Like here's a little fountain. Little collectible doodads that maybe you don't find a place, or you just want to, add some extra, not clutter per se, but you need to, dress up the room. Those are good little things to use. There's another bathroom. This one includes a shower. So you have the same cabinetry things going on. I don't know what they're using for the shelf here. It could be the edge of a wall. I really don't know, but I know the Smurf dynamite for the handle and the legs, and the same setup that they have in the other bathroom for the toilet and everything. This is a case of where if you've got that same cabinet elsewhere, then you use Katya's add-on to duplicate it and move it into a new location so that you don't have to rebuild it from scratch. They decided to use a lever switch for the shower head up there. Bottle tops for the handles. Here we have another bedroom. This one's a little bit more standard, what you'd expect in most homes. A little top hiding in the bed. And a little storage area here, I guess. Let's see, did I hit all the rooms now? Don't want to miss anything. Notice that this picture is a combination of two different pictures, just so that they change the frame. Because that's one of those, I don't know, it's actually just a pure gold frame. You can kind of see it sticking out in a few places. But the other frame, the wooden one, is actually the reclining woman, where she kind of looks all provocative. And they've just sandwiched it on top of the other one to give it a different look. It's little things like that a lot of people would just walk by and not even notice, but I happened to see it. I spotted it. Okay, I think that's it. Notice too that they've used those orange shelves to kind of bring that repeated element all the way through. It's just those little things that, you know, a lot of people don't even consider. Interesting stuff. If you're wondering what this is, that's a combination of the Falcon Fire Brazier, I think is what it's called, and that's a Draken training pillar, and they're using that as a little bit. I think we covered it all. I hope. I hope we covered it all. It's a really lovely setup for home, especially. I can't seem to get out of here. I'm locked in. I can't get out. I want out. Get out of here. Got it so boxed in. Anyway, it's a great house. If you have a chance to visit it on Jabbit-EU Exile side, be sure and give it a look. Definitely come to admire, if nothing else, the exterior of that prefab home. I'm pretty sure it's a spacious exile house. I could be wrong, but I think this the type it is. And they've just completely modified the whole exterior. The interior, you kind of expect that they're going to modify it, but the exterior, so many just leave it as is, and they really don't dress it up too much. And this one has really gone out of their way to make it completely their own. So it almost looks like a fully custom built house. But they take advantage of it having its own instanced interior to its advantage there. But yeah, it's a really lovely place. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed all 4 of the plots that we visited today. We had a good variety of theme. Um, Hopefully, you know, even if your theme isn't specifically the same, maybe, you know, some of the ideas you see here or there will kind of spur your own and help you progress in your own projects. Because again, that's the big thing for these tours and stuff and my own work. Just want to spur ideas, you know, get those creative juices flowing kind of thing. And this is the best way, one of the best ways to do it. You know, a lot of people like to avoid looking at other people's homes because they don't want to feel like they're copying someone else. Or I've had a few say like, you know, um, I was going to make a car, but then I saw someone else's car, and I'll never make one as good as that. Really, don't let that stop you. Um, think of, for instance, all of the toilets that we've seen. That's one of my favorite examples. Everybody has, you know, almost everybody has a bathroom with a toilet in their house somewhere. Of all the ones that we have seen, I dare say none of them have looked the same. While they might use the same materials even, they all have their own uniqueness because of the way the person chooses to arrange the items. So even if someone makes a hot air balloon, doesn't mean you shouldn't or that you can't, because your approach to it may be um, uh, different, will likely be different, and that's, you know, part of the fun. You know, you can. It's one of the things that I try to show off in the guild activity that I used to run was the CBDC, the Custom Built Decor Challenge. I would give them a specific theme. I'd say, hey, I want an animal, and it was just fun to see, you know, even if they picked the same animal, they never looked alike, and that's the whole point. So don't be discouraged if you decide to visit some of these homes. Don't feel like, well, I'm copying from them. You might be inspired by them, but as long as you're not using the exact item and the exact position and sizing that they're doing, then it's not really copying. You're just being inspired. Um, and hopefully you will give it your own twist. That's the fun part, is making it your own. You might see that they've changed this weeping fountain to have the hugels. Maybe you come up with a different kind of way of doing it, of decorating it yourself rather than using the hugels. Um, That's part of the fun. And that would be that they inspired you to give it a try yourself. So anyway, so that's it for this week's housing tours. I will be